Hello and welcome to TTV News broadcasting on TayNinhTV radio and television station with some latest events in TayNinh province. And now we come into details. Ladies and gentlemen, Fulton Border gas station said that at 11:10 a.m. on June 17, the forces on duty at checkpoint number 13 discovered a family consisting of 2 men and 2 women who were on their way to illegally enter Vietnam from Cambodia.
Lieutenant Colonel Ninh Hồng Tuấn, head of Fulton Border gas station, said, as patrolling in the area near landmark 152, located in Thanh Nam Hamlet, Thanh Long Commune, Châu Thành District, soldiers discovered 4 people who were traveling through sugarcane growing trenches trying to enter Vietnam. They all live in Thanh Trung Hamlet, Thanh Long Commune, Châu Thành District, TayNinhTV province. These subjects confessed that in March 2020, they illegally exited to Cambodia to work as freelance laborers. Now, due to a strong outbreak of the epidemic, they fled Cambodia to Vietnam because no one hired them. After investigating and verifying the identities of the subjects, Fulton Border gas station issued an administrative sanctions decision and handed over them to Châu Thành District Steering Committee for Epidemic Prevention Control to be quarantined according to regulations. On June 17, 2021, TayNinhTV, head of Padang Mountain Pagodas in TayNinhTV province, gave an amount of 300 million Vietnam dong contributed by the maintenance and borders of Padang Mountain Pagoda system to the COVID-19 vaccine fund. On behalf of Vietnam Fatherland Front Committee of TayNinhTV province, Mr. Nguyễn Văn Hợp, member of the Provincial Party Standing Committee, Chairman of the Provincial Fatherland Front Committee, presented a thank you letter and raised the spirit of the Ninh Thích Nữ Diệu Nghĩa, as well as the maintenance and borders of Padang Mountain Pagoda system for their contribution to the COVID-19 vaccine fund. Mr. Nguyễn Văn Hợp said, over the past year with efforts, Vietnam has reached many achievements in the prevention control of the COVID-19 pandemic, and now we are entering a new phase with a very meaningful program, revaccination for the whole population. This requires the cooperation of the whole society. After receiving the donated amount, Vietnam Fatherland Front Committee of TayNinhTV province will transfer this amount to the relevant authorities to join hands with the government to buy vaccine to prevent and control the COVID-19 epidemic. Recently, representatives of Saigon VRG Investment Corporation, investor of Saigon VRG Investment Corporation, and Phước Đông Bời Lời Industrial Urban Service Complex offer 500 sets of SARS-CoV-2 test kits worth 70 million Vietnam dong for Trang Bang Town People's Committee. At the reception ceremony, Mr. Hà Minh Giáo, Vice Chairman of Trang Bang Town People's Committee, thanked the company for the timely attention and support, show a sense of responsibility to the community, and join hands with the local community to effectively prevent and control the epidemic, push back the epidemic soon, stabilize socio-economic activities.
On June 17, Hoa Thanh Town People Committee held an expanding meeting to assess the implementation of socio-economic development, defense and security tasks in the first 6 months of the year and implement tasks in the last month of 2021. Mr. Tu Nhân Hoàng, Chairman of the Town People Committee, chaired the conference.
Despite facing many difficulties due to the COVID-19 epidemic, the socio-economic situation of Hoa Thanh Town has continued to develop stably and sustainably in the first 6 months of the year. The manufacturing activities of industry construction sector was estimated at more than 1,900 billion Vietnam dong, up 5.21% over the same period last year. Total retail sales of goods and services reached nearly 10,300 billion Vietnam dong, up 11.54%. Estimated total state budget revenue in the past 6 months was more than 170 billion Vietnam dong, an increase of more than 13.1% over the same period. the COVID-19 epidemic prevention, control, and socialization activities in the fields of poverty reduction, job creation, and care of people's lives have been paid special attention and regularly directed by party committees and authorities at all levels. Political security, social order, and safety have been also maintained. The leadership and direction of the election of deputies to the 15th National Assembly and People's Council at all levels have focused on strictly following the process and ensuring the plan. Concluding the conference, Mr. Trang Bang appreciated the efforts of the branches in the past time. For the time to come, he asked on levels and sectors to review the targets that met but were still low, especially focusing on state budget collection, while implement the program on urban development, land management, and environmental protection, ensure the COVID-19 epidemic prevention control, focus on building advanced new state rural areas for commutes as planned.
The 11th Bronzo Party Congress 2020-2025 term has set out strategic breakthrough, including ones in tourism development, in order of effectively implement the resolution of the Bronzo Party Congress. The working group has implemented breakthrough solution on tourism development, setting key tasks for the 2021-2025 period,
in which special attention is paid to the development of Padang Mountain tourist area with the following phases. From 2021 to 2022, continuing to implement the work items under the detailed planning of the cable car route and ancillary work. From 2022 to 2025, implementing projects according to detailed planning approved by competent authorities in the planning of subdivisions 1, 2, 3, 4, according to the general planning on construction of Padang Mountain National Tourist Area. By 2025, completing projects on reservation, repairing, and restoration of relics and natural landscapes, which are commensurate with the development of investor projects at relic sites approved by the Ministry of Culture, Sport and Tourism, unified localizing areas to protect historical relics and scenic spot of Padang Mountain. In addition, the group also set out a plan to develop and implement a project on training, fostering, and developing tourism human resources for the 2021-2025 period in the direction of increasing socialization and implementing it in many forms, coordinating with the National Administration of Tourism, Vietnam Airlines, and Vietnam Tourism Association to welcome farm trip and fresh trip delegations to introduce the province tourism resources, advantages, and products, and attract investment and expand the international tourist market.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth outbreak of the epidemic with a more dangerous level has caused stagnation in some production and business sector. Tourism and transport business are turtling in a position to both ensure epidemic prevention and control, as well as maintain operation. In these difficult days, many passenger transport businesses have reduced the number of flights and staff, causing the accumulation of difficulties.
TayNinhTV bus station in the morning of June 15, 2021 were deserted with a few of vehicles parking in it. The trip of Đông Phước Company to An Sương, Ho Chi Minh City has only one passenger. Taking measures to prevent epidemic, the bus trips have been reduced. People are also limited to travel, so the number of passengers on each trip decreased sharply. Đông Phước Company with 130 vehicles, of which TayNinhTV Ho Chi Minh City route is the main one. On weekdays, there is a departure every 15 minutes. But from May 31st, implementing epidemic prevention control measures as directed by TayNinhTV Department of Transport, Đông Phước Company reduced the number of trips by 50%. There is only one trip to Ho Chi Minh City every 1 hour and 15 minutes, with a litter of passengers. At most, there are only 3 ones for a trip. Currently, due to the prolonged epidemic, the number of passengers is very limited. The operation of vehicles is less, so it is very difficult for businesses. Enterprises had to reduce employees, so it greatly affected the employees who used to work with the business. Dongtom Transport Cooperative with 1,000 vehicles, including passenger transport on fixed routes, buses, and passenger transport vehicles under contract, also have fear of operating vehicles because there are no customers. Dong Tiến buses on Tân Biên Tây City Road and Tây Ninh Củ Chi Road are currently suspended. Tourist areas stop accepting guests. People's travel restriction led to stagnation of passenger transport services, waiting for the end of epidemic. Mr. Lâm Tấn Phong, driver of Resta Taxi, said, currently there are no tourists, so there are only local customers. But local people also do not go out because they feel insecure about the epidemic situation. As an automobile transport association, we would also like to request the state to support transport enterprises to overcome difficulties during the time of epidemic. On June 9, 2021, the Department of Transport continued to adjust the operation of passenger transport routes from Tây Ninh to Ho Chi Minh City. For passenger transport routes from Tân Hà Bus Station in Tây Ninh Province to An Sương Bus Station, Ho Chi Minh City, an average of 10 trips per day. Each trip is 90 minutes apart. At An Sương Bus Station, the bus leaves from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. Each trip is 90 minutes apart. From other transport units, which are currently operating and exploiting the routes from Tây Ninh to An Sương Bus Station, Ho Chi Minh City, still have to reduce the number of trips by 50%, carrying no more than 50% of the seats and no more than 10 people on a car. Such a reduction, but without passengers, the revenue source of transport units is reduced or absent.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today TTV News. Thank you for being with us and goodbye for now.